One shot. Let's begin. Hino Hideshi's Doraemon by Hino Hideshi. Translating upload golden rose and manga decks. Alright, I'm recording this one a little bit earlier, so the daylight is, kind of infecting this part here. So, that's okay. Like, dark mode, the lighting's still a little bit eerie. It is October. We're reading nothing but horror one-shots for the month of October. This one's a little bit shorter because I want the dramatic lighting when it gets a little bit darker. You can see a little bit of the red on my face. I got this little guy here. So, I don't know. Let's begin, everybody. Hino Hideshi's Doraemon. Golden Rose Scans presents Hideshi Hino's Doraemon. Check us out on Discord, and that's their little thing. The Raws, AMTT, TL Anon, and editing is done by Mag. What are you doing?
Getting revenge on the guys who always bully me.
Let me borrow this. The Ken says savings.
What are you doing? That's my life savings.
I'm gonna go buy some nice things for you.
He's planning to buy a plastic model with that. What's this?
A mini hell machine.
Mini hell machine?
Just stick someone's photo in here, and I'll spit out a bite-sized version of them. Then we'll get to torture them in this hell. This machine's super popular in the future.
It sure does sound fun. Wow. It has a needle mountain, a blood lake, a fire bath, a boiling pot, a stone mortar, and lots of sharp tools.
Yeah, it's all come as a set. Hee.
I have a lot of photos. First, we'll start with Cheyenne, the one who always bullies me. Slip. What? No Buddha. A blood lake. Help me. Ow. Now, for the Needle Mountain. Go on. Go on. Hey. That's what you get for always bullying me. And here's what's next.
Hey, let me have a turd.
Now for Soneo. What? Give me. I'm gonna grind you up into the stone mortar. And so, the two of them became consumed with playing in hell, day after day. 1 month later, what a bummer.
What's wrong?
I dropped this month's allowance in the toilet and accidentally flushed it.
Ah, oh no! I bought that hell machine by mail order. I need your allowance to keep paying off the loan.
What? You never told me about that.
If we don't pay that loan, we're in big trouble.
What will happen?
Here they come.
Looks like you can't pay off your loan. Your punishment will be a month-long stay in hell.
It's really hot down here. And man, look at that. That lighting is so much cooler. More menacing, more whatever here. Yeah, but I got plans this evening, so I can't, get the dramatic lighting every time. Maybe I need to zoom out a bit for these things in the future, just so way the lighting, I usually like to zoom in, but then the lighting, look at that, look at my face. So cool stuff. I know Doraemon is famous. Hino Hideshi sounds super familiar. I think I've read quite a bit of their stuff before. I don't know if they've made Doraemon or if they're just a guest artist to complete Doraemon. But yeah, so this one. I think this was so I chose this one in part because since the lighting wasn't completely going to be there today, um I was like, okay, in that case, let's to say that's ideally a little lighthearted. And yeah, I don't think this one was particularly lighthearted, but it is a horror and it's properly labeled horror. Like the one yesterday I read, it was more action than it was horror. And in a case like this one, I I was like, okay, this is actually pretty horrific. I think it might arguably be more horrific than the other one. Because it's, first bullying, so, not good. And then this one also torturing, not good. And then they go to hell. Like, like it's all torture, it's all suffering, it's all everything. Um, and yeah, that's ugh, that's ugh, is the right way to put it. You know. And then let me borrow this with the allowance. And then boom, bought the hell thing. So he bought it. All this torture was bad, everything. But it's kind of interesting that the main villain is like loans. He's like, you didn't pay off your loan. There you go. The interest, the banks, this and the other, going and like essentially giving a loan so they get paid off. It's also, Doraemon's fault for living beyond the things, and whatever there, right? Some general financial advice that I've read is that if you can't buy it twice, you can afford it. And, that's a very general statement to make, but, the concept is there. Is that, in case something of an emergency happens and you need to use it for something else, would you have been able to buy that thing twice? And if not, then, like, you would run out of savings. It probably isn't worth your time. Or might not be the most fiscally responsible thing to do. The stabby stabs and the, like, drowny drowns and the murder murders. This was, I would say, and I've like looked through this quite a bit, is that a lot of the manga I've read, and especially with the one that was like gotcha, that one was gory and also kind of hard to, it was scary but not overtly scary. Part of that's the art. I think this one does a good example of it's not going to use any gore, but rather just focus on their eyes and like their characteristics to make them seem a little more unhinged. And I think it helps that these characters are not originally drawn like this, right? Because when I encountered the other one, like this guy, like, oof, look at that, right? Like, that's creepy, that's a little scary. This is like Doraemon normally. And as a result of like the contrast, it becomes a little bit scarier, right? Even though it's not as gory as the other one. And so I think that's a good example because the other one was like Tim Burton characters where they are like a little bit gothic, they have the little bags in their eyes, they have this, that, and the other, right? All of that stuff going on. And so because of that, it was a little bit it was scary, but it wasn't the maximum scary. Did I? Oh, it's the same artist. I actually didn't plan this. I actually didn't. I didn't because sometimes I'll go through their thing, but as I was going through more and more of this person's catalog, I was like, okay, there's not a lot of one shots, so let me not look through them anymore. Oh, looks like there's another one. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, exactly. So I didn't actually plan this one. It's really interesting, like the contrast in styles, because I'll show the one that I was like talking about in just a second. I'm just actually surprised because the one I've been using as the example is like the artist who actually did do this. So the one I was talking about was like gotcha. And so, with this particular character, right, they got the lighting, everything here, but every panel is like so Tim Burton esque with how dark it is, the lighting around the eyes and everything, and all of this. And again, it's well drawn, but strangely enough, I'm not quite as scared of it as um I'd otherwise would be, right? Like Tim Burton, for example, is pretty scary, but because that's the default style, it isn't as scary. Because part of horror is like contrast, right? If you're able to contrast things from the way they normally should be, all of a sudden it's scarier, right? Part of the reason is okay, let's say you go and you have a song and then there's like or you have a scene and then there's like music, right? It's like okay, this would normally be safe with its sense, but then you play the horror movie, uh-oh, this peacefulness is now contrasted with this whatever. or like the face of somebody, right? You know, if I go like do a super angry face, and this has been my experience in the past, because I'm a relatively calm person, don't really do whatever, and then whatever it's about, but then like when I go like that, that's obviously it's a little exaggerated, but the idea is that that does scare people. It's like, oh no, like I could see the look on your face. You just dropped so much like this here, and again, little face. You look at that little pitch. Now the angry is on, and that contrast helps a lot, right? And so for this one, it's all decrepit. It's all scary, and these are horrific situations, throughout, and he's quite an artist, but when the world is default like that, then what's abnormal doesn't necessarily scare you as much, right? Um, because that's also the thing with like large crowds. Who do you know if somebody bad is going to be in there? It's abnormal. Things are not going to happen as much. And even with horror manga, there are scenes of calm where it's like, okay, we're going to be calm. We're not going to do much here. Great, great, great. And then after like the calm is broken, it's like that. It becomes scarier. So in a case like this, I think that Doraemon is such a cute little guy, and look at this cute little guy, that when you start to do this, it is a little bit scarier than the other one that I would normally read. But again, maybe it's just, like how I'm used to it. Like, I mean, an evil Pikachu, right? Actually, I wonder if that's a phenomena. Um, because growing up, I had creepy pasta, and creepypasta had like a scary looking Link, a scary looking Pikachu, this, that, and the other. And so I wonder if there is like a term for like horror where you take something that's normally friendly and make it evil, and that adds an extra layer. Because like for example, any doll that's trying to kill you, most dolls are supposed to be cute, but then if they're evil, not so much, right? So I do wonder if that is a phenomenon why this thing does appear a little bit scary, even though innately this compared to the guy's other art, uh, this is just objectively, I think, more well drawn horrifically, right? Like you have the face here, you have this lighting. It's a very scary, but since that's the default, it's not as you know, like the other one. Although again, this is a good one. I do like it. It did get a twist. It was like, ooh, okay. Um, but yeah, it's really interesting. Anyways, I know I've been analyzing more than, but I honestly that's good. I think I'm supposed to. Because like this one is a scary looking image. Anyways, I'm rambling. I'm kind of all over the place at the moment, but I liked it a lot. It was short, it was sweet, it was to the point, and yeah, I think I might have to look into that my own thing, making cute things scary. Maybe if that adds a layer to it, because these are not scary; they're nice people. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Be safe. Happy Halloween. Oh gosh, what happened to my? There we go. Happy Halloween, everybody. Well, it's a month away, but have a good day, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for being born, y'all. Peace out.